Okay, so MPH has a couple different versions of this gun. They call it the Z-series. They are all handheld K-band radar guns. And you can see there's a Z-15, Z-25, Z-35, and Z-45. So what are the differences? The Z-15 is going to be your basic no-frills version. It is a stationary K-band gun. It does not have pop mode. It does not have fastest mode. So it's just it's kind of like a Bushnell actually. You just point it and it gives you a speed of whatever the strongest target is. It is not battery powered though, it's cigarette lighter powered, so you do have to power it from a car. And it's got just a single trigger, so you press to transmit and then when you let go it locks whatever the strongest speed is. So really, really simple, very affordable. It's kind of their inexpensive basic one. Now the Z-25, it's going to be very similar to this right here, which is the Z-35. The Z-25 is going to be your corded version. The Z-35 is going to be battery powered. So other than that, they're basically the same thing. The Z-25 and the Z-35 are going to add a couple different features that the Z-15 does not have. That includes things like the fastest mode capability. So you've got fastest mode, and in addition to the strongest window, you've also got now a fastest window. So you've got now two windows here because you do have fastest mode capability. It's still K-band, it's still stationary only, and it still does not have any directional information, so you can't tell if something is coming towards you or moving away. The trigger does get upgraded from a single stage to a two-stage trigger.
Okay.
So what that means is you pull it halfway just to transmit and release, and then if you want to lock the speed, you pull it all the way in, and then when you release, your strongest signal stays locked. And release. Oh, and it totally didn't work, which is awesome for the video. There it is. Okay. So looks like it gets locked when you do it right there at the bottom, 35 miles an hour. So the Z-15 doesn't let you lock, while the Z-25 and the 35 do. So you got locking mode capability there. Let's see. There's also this photocell diode here, which will automatically illuminate the backlight here when it gets dark. And when it's light outside, that will automatically go back and just be normal. So the Z-15 does have a backlight, but it's totally manual. The 25 and 35 have it automated. Cool, little things like that. There are voices.
Pop.
Right, so it'll say pop.
Audio.
It says audio. With the Z-15, it's just the beeps. With the Z-25 and 35, you get the voices as well. Cool, not a big deal, but they're there. One of the big things is with the Z-25 and 35, you do get pop mode. The Z-15 does not have pop mode, so it's just a really simple pull to transmit K-band gun. With the Z-15 and 25, the maximum speed, or the maximum speed is actually a little bit faster. You can clock vehicles anywhere from 15 to 160 miles an hour. So the minimum speed it can clock is 15 miles an hour. The maximum is 160. If you get the Z-35 like this with the battery, the maximum speed actually drops from 160 miles an hour to 135. So if you got this gun, somebody's clocking you, they can't actually clock faster than 135 miles an hour. That's cool. The hard case that you get here with the Z-35, it comes standard with the Z-25 and the Z-35. It's an optional feature for the Z-15, because again, that's kind of the basic cheapy one. So you've got these little switches here to lock it, and then that's going to be your unlock switch right there. Let's see, what other kind of differences are there? Looks like that's basically the main stuff that I've got. And then obviously, Z-25 is the corded one, Z-35 is the battery one. The Z-45 is going to be a little bit different. It is designed for international use only. It's not available here in the States. It does not have pop mode. So while the Z-25 and the Z-35 have pop mode, the Z-45 does not have pop mode. It's designed a little bit differently. So it's also a K-band unit. It's also stationary only, But unlike any of the other ones, it now features directional information. So you can tell if a car is moving away from you or coming towards you, and you can also tell it to only clock one direction of traffic. So you can tell it to only clock cars coming towards you or only clock cars going away. So it does have the directional information where the other ones do not. Its antenna, it's also a little bit different as well. Unlike all the other ones which are circularly polarized, the Z-45, it's actually going to be linearly polarized. So kind of like the Falcon HR, it's got your patch antennas. However, it's not a low-powered unit. These ones, their output power ranges from about 12 to 30 milliwatts. Their maximum output power is 50 milliwatts, while the Z-45 is 100 milliwatts. So its output power, it's actually twice what you're going to get with any of the other units. So it's not a low-powered unit. It's actually more of a high-powered unit, oddly enough. Another thing you're going to find is with these ones, their beam spread, it's going to be only 12 degrees, circularly polarized. Okay? The Z-45, it's going to be 12 degrees in the horizontal direction, but actually 25 degrees in the vertical direction. So it's linearly polarized, and it's a lot wider in the vertical direction than the other ones are. What else do I have? The maximum range actually really drops. The maximum range is going to be about 5,000 feet, whereas the Z-45, the maximum range is only 1,200 feet. So it's higher powered, and it's also really short range. So it's available, let's see, battery powered and corded. So it's basically a directional, stationary, linearly polarized, high-powered, close-range gun, which is not available in the States. Yeah, cool. So all that. So that's the Z-45. And like the stocker DSRs, it's direction sensing as well. So it can actually tell if something is moving towards you or away. You don't have to manually set it. So cool. That's the Z-15, Z-25, Z-35, and Z-45. If you were to pick one, really the whole point of getting a gun like this, in my opinion, is to get the pop mode. So to get the pop mode, you're going to want the Z-25 or the Z-35.
Pop on.
To get your pop mode right there. And then it's up to you to choose whether you want the cigarette lighter or you want the battery. I prefer the battery just because it's a lot more convenient. You don't have to be tied to a car. It's less wiring and hassle, and just makes things a lot more convenient. So you can test on the side of the road without having to be tethered to a car or anything like that. So if you were to choose one of these guns, you're probably going to want it for pop mode. So it's the Z-25 or the Z-35. And then the Z-35 is probably the way to go just because you get the convenience of the battery. So if you were to choose any one of these, I would recommend the Z-35. So there you go. There's a look at the differences between the whole Z-series from MPH.